everybody, it's Alyssa here again with the Goodell Life. Welcome back to my channel. Today we'll be talking about the pros and cons of living in a small apartment or a smaller sized home. Maybe you even have a tiny home. Those are all the rage right now. Ours specifically here in the interior of BC, it is 420 square feet, maybe 423. We are very fortunate in that we do have a larger patio and we do have a small storage unit on our floor, so that houses a lot of my seasonal items and things that I don't use all the time, like our food dehydrator and sewing machine. So one of the pros of living in a smaller house is that it has the potential of saving you money. Now, this isn't a guarantee. Nobody's promising that you'll save a ton of money, but this can have the potential of saving you money in a variety of ways. The first most obvious one is if you're buying a place, it's probably going to be cheaper than any of the ones that are bigger than it. For mine, for example, it is about $100,000 cheaper than a comparable unit that is 100 square feet bigger than mine on the same floor in my building. So just take that in. $100,000, that is 5 zeros cheaper to take away 100 square feet and actually have a better layout for my apartment, which is insane to think about. The other way it can save you money is that before you buy anything, you're thinking about that way more than once and way more than twice. For me, a lot of times I am measuring items, especially if it's furniture. Our couch was kind of an improvised purchase, but we had a measuring tape with us. We knew the size it needed to be, and it just happened to work that day we did find a couch that was in our budget and fit. It also has the potential of saving you money in that before you go and you buy any knickknacks or decorative items, you really have to think of the storage you have, and you really have to think about what sort of space or home that item will live in. I know many times I've purchased items without thinking it through. I come home and I find I either have to return it because it doesn't fit, or I try to make it fit and a few months later I'm donating it or trying to sell it on Facebook because it just didn't work and it ended up looking cluttered and taking up way too much room, and I was just not happy with the item anymore. So you can save yourself some money and you're going to be buying a lot less decorations, a lot less candles. I'm told I am a candle graveyard hoarder because I like the jars. Our recent candle clean out, we got rid of 11, maybe 13 dead candles. So candle graveyard, that's my house. Another pro, and this one might seem a little bit silly for you, is that laundry is only 3 steps away from your bed. So if you want to take your laundry out of the dryer and throw it on the bed to fold, it's 3 steps. Super easy. There's no excuses. If you don't have room to sort your laundry into 2 different hampers, well, you can put the dark straight into the washing machine and keep the lights in the hamper, and there you go, it's sorted because it's 3 steps away. No excuse for no laundry being done, no excuse for no laundry being folded. All has to be done right there because you have no other choice or room. Another one, and this one goes out to all my late night eaters like Joe, love you, but this is you more than me. If you're hungry at 4 a.m. and you want a sandwich, you crawl out of bed and you walk 5 steps to the fridge and you make a sandwich. So literally you kind of sleep in your kitchen, which, I mean, as a child, that was always a dream. So there's a pro. Small things, right? Gotta look for the small things when you live in a small home, right? Another pro of living in a small apartment or a small house is that it forces you to declutter. Now I see a lot of videos out there and a lot of blogs about KonMari and the art of tidying up. Now this is a book that I still want to get. I think it would really affect me in a positive way. I've only heard great things about it, but I kind of had to take that on anyway when we moved into this place, because if it didn't bring me joy, it was not coming into that moving van, because I had so much room in the apartment, it had to be able to fit. I still remember when we moved in, a good portion of the living room was boxes for months because I didn't have space to unpack the boxes. It was so tiny. And we had to completely redo the front entrance closet. We tore out the prefab metal shelving that they put in there and made, well, we didn't make, but we purchased a different shelving kind of combination to go inside, so I had room for my shoes and the vacuum. It's been an adventure at some times, for sure, but it has forced me to really declutter and really reevaluate how I view and value my items that I have purchased, and take away some of the value of items, things that I thought were so important to me, like my rice cooker. I have not missed my rice cooker. I have cooked rice just fine for the last 2 years on my stove like everybody else. Whereas before, that's all I would use. I used the rice cooker for years. Probably like, oh my gosh, since 2008 up until 2 years ago, I was using a rice cooker for everything. It's just how I knew how to make rice. And so, even small things like that, as silly as it seems, living in a smaller home has really made me have to reevaluate and revalue all, isn't that the same word? Reevaluate and revalue? Assign new values to items. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, another pro of living in a smaller home is that it forces you to be creative. So even if you didn't want to be creative, even if that wasn't really your jam and you're like, oh, I just wanted to get into a small apartment, that's all I could afford, I'm not in here for some DIY, build your own shelves, Pinterest, weekend every time, living at Home Depot life, well, you're probably not going to like it. But if building things and being creative is up your alley, then living in a smaller apartment can definitely fulfill that. Even in a new build like ours, we've had tons of projects because it's all been really trying to make the best use of our space. So that can be fun, that can be a bit of an adventure and a great bonding time with your partner if you have one. Now for the cons. And there are quite a few cons. You could probably make a much longer list than what I'm gonna say for living in a smaller home. But to not be too much of a Debbie Downer, I really try to limit it. Limit it. Ugh. So the first, most obvious con of living in a small apartment or small home is that there is no room for your stuff. There's some room, but you're going to have to get rid of a lot of stuff that you would normally want to maybe keep in bulk. Grocery shopping. I'm not buying 5 jars of pasta sauce because it's on sale anymore. I'm buying maybe 2. Freezing things. I only have the one freezer. It's much smaller than some of our other fridges and freezers. So when things are on sale, I really have to think that through. I'm not buying big cases of chicken unless I know I have the room. For furniture, you know, you really have to think it through. My shoes, oh my god, my shoes. I had like 80 pairs of shoes. I am down to maybe 25, which still sounds like a lot, but down from 80 pairs, that's a lot of shoes I have donated and sold. That's a lot of money in shoes I have invested and donated or sold. It's been a lot. Textbooks. I used to keep so many textbooks. I still have a lot. But books and textbooks especially, I've had to donate and sell a lot of them. There's so many items that you wanted to keep and you always thought you would keep, but you just can't. My sewing machine is in the storage room. My Mod Podge is all hidden somewhere. I don't have my craft table anymore for crafting whenever I please. That's a whole to-do if I want to make something, especially with my Cricut. I have to pull it out from under the coffee table, set it up, plug it in. I don't just have a crafting dedicated space anymore where it's all in one area and I can close the door afterwards if I made a bit of a mess and come back to it after the company's left. It's really something that you have to consciously make an effort with. Another downside or potential downside, which goes against one of my pros, which is that living in a smaller space can cost you money. It can cost you quite a bit more money. Sure, my mortgage is lower than a lot of my friends, and sure, different things like that are nice, but in general, anytime I go to buy furniture, I can't just be given a piece of furniture from a family member or a friend. I'm having to make sure and measure out and really consciously make an effort to know that that furniture will fit. And for a lot of pieces, that means that they're going to be more money. Have you walked into the Brick? Have you walked into IKEA even? Some of those very specific pieces of furniture for your space are going to cost more money. For if you go to like Yisk even, if you wanted one of the smaller couches, the apartment size, anything apartment size has a full house price tag. Just because it's smaller doesn't mean it costs less to make apparently, even though it's less materials. It's a lot more engineering, I guess. There's less market value for it. And so they jack the price up and it's very frustrating. We actually stopped buying apartment-sized furniture and started buying just smaller pieces, or even like our chair's a full-size chair, but it doesn't take up as much room as some of the other armchairs we were looking at. Our couch is just a sofa or a love seat, I suppose. From a collection, we didn't buy the full-size 3-seater couch. We just got the 2-seater without a chaise. Our previous couch had a chaise, which was great, but it took up a lot of room that I needed for other things like walking, just to walk. It was nice to be able to walk to that part of the room without the chaise just blocking it off. So little things like that. Another downside for me, now this isn't always frustrating, but it's on my mind because my bathroom is a disaster, is my bathroom doubles as a laundry room. As you'll see, my washer and dryer are right next to my fridge, which is great if you know, for putting away laundry and doing laundry. But for things that need to hang to dry, which is for me very regular items, they get hung up on my shower rod, where my curtain is in the bathroom, which isn't too bad if it's 1 or 2 pieces. I can just shove it to the side and still have room to shower. However, as you'll see, I finally did a ginormous load of delicates and hand wash items, and so I hung them all up to dry, didn't have time to put it away before work today, and this is the mess that it made of my bathroom when I needed to shower and get ready. Sitting there because I had a meeting right after work and now I'm doing this video, so after this video I'll be putting away that laundry. But there's no just letting things dry during the day because you need that space in the day. You're really having to be conscious of doing those things the last load of the night, probably later in the night, and then heading them all up to hang so they can dry overnight. Hopefully your home is warm enough that they can dry overnight and they're dry enough in the morning. That's happened to me before, where I go in and I go to grab like a bra, something that I definitely need to wear, and it is still wet because my apartment didn't get warm enough overnight for it to dry, or I had too many things drying at once and I didn't get enough airflow. I'm also always so paranoid that I'm going to put one sweater on there too many, and the whole rod, the whole bar is just going to collapse off my walls. It's going to ruin all that painting I did, ruin the crap drywall that the contractors installed, because they only put the cheapest crap in this apartment, I swear to God, and it's going to be a big nightmare. So that's a giant fear of mine, but I know you can get laundry items that have like the retractable cords, so it kind of has that laundry line that you could use outside, but you can put that in your bathroom. That's something we've thought of before. I really want to look at getting one for outside for during the summertime, so I have a bit more room, but we really need to clean off the patio first because it's so dusty, and then all my clothes are dirty again, and I'm allergic to dust, so I mean, that's just a bad situation if we do that. Another possible downside is the downsizing. Now, decluttering is one thing, getting rid of things that you didn't need to keep, that you didn't use, going through your kitchen utensils and being like, oh, did I need 8 ladles? Probably not. Did I need these 14 spatulas of different sizes? I could probably live with 2. That is great, that is healthy. Now, downsizing is hard. Going through your pictures, going through your DVDs, going through your clothes that you weren't quite ready to part with, but you physically cannot bring with you is hard. Going through some things that were sentimental to you and seeing, is there another way I can store this? Do these pictures, how often do I actually look at these pictures? Can I just scan them all to myself and put them on Dropbox? For all these glasses, now I got a lot of really special wine glasses for gifts for many years. Well, do they fit in my new cupboards? Do I even have space for glasses in my cupboards? Oh my gosh. I've donated or sold so many mugs because I had a special mug probably from every person in my life for the last 8 years, and it was impossible for us to ever go through them. Level amount of mugs. I still have a crazy amount, but it's a lot better than what it used to be. Wine glasses, I think I have 5. So a very minute amount of wine glasses, which is perfect because, I mean, really a bottle of wine is like 2 people. So why do you need 5? I don't have room for 5 people to sit in my home. So there you go. I can only fit like 3 people in my home at any time, so that could downsize there. I could get rid of 2 wine glasses. Little things like that. The downsizing can be very, very emotionally taxing. It can put a lot of strain on your relationship. I had friends helping me downsize, and I probably cried a few times, I'm not gonna lie. It was a very emotionally taxing time for me, and you're already so stressed with moving, you're so stressed with packing everything, trying to make sure it doesn't break, and now you're going through things and getting rid of a lot of things that you already thought were personal to you. You're leaving a home that you liked, or maybe you didn't like it, but it's still that change, that making a big change in your life and leaving a home. Even if the next home's nicer, it has those emotional connections to those places. And downsizing is a lot harder than I ever thought it would be. Another possible downside or con of moving into a smaller home is you really have to be creative. Now, I said this was a pro before if you're a creative person, but if you're not creative or you're just tired and you want to put your dish towels away, there's no freaking home for your dish towels because it's just open spaces under your cupboards because the contractors didn't think, oh, maybe these people would need storage for something in this apartment. It's a lot. You kind of have a meltdown at like 11:30 at night on a Wednesday because there's no home for your dish towels. You're looking at Amazon for the perfect basket. It's $45 and you're like, I'm not paying $45 for a freaking basket for dish towels. Like, my dish towels don't even cost $45. This is ridiculous. I could get like half a pair of great shoes for this. I can go for sushi for that. Your mind's running through all the things you can do instead of a freaking basket. And then you're watching these videos, all these people are like, oh, go to Poundland, go to Dollarama, go to the dollar stores, Hobby Lobby, all these stores that aren't in Canada, and the dollar stores, well, Dollarama is, suck in Canada, or at least in the interior of BC. They only sell the same like 4 basket options, and I have probably bought out all of the white wicker kind of braided looking ones. I literally was like stocking their stock when it would come in and going to multiple locations in town to try to make sure I had matching baskets. And this is where I say it can be a very large con of having to be creative, because it can be exhausting, it can take a lot more money, and it can cause you to maybe have a meltdown in the middle of the dollar store and be a bit of an asshole. So, not the best parts of living in a small apartment. But like I said, there's also plenty of good ones. I'm sure there's more than the few that I listed, but right now that's where my mind's at. That's where my list took me. Didn't want to make this video too terribly long. So if you liked videos like this, let me know, shoot me a thumbs up. If you also live in a small home or you have any storage solutions for small homes, write a comment below. And like always, subscribe and have a great night. I'll see you in our next video. Bye.